Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
In mid-thought, I'm like, can I say kiss ass? I guess, and I'm sitting there going, I guess brown nose would have done it. But is brown nose a bad word?
No, you can say brown nose.
You got to be a suck toad a little bit.
Well, Pan.
No, my name is Pam.
Are you saying Pan or Pam?
I'm saying Pam. Yeah, I'm sorry. Who is this gentleman sitting behind you?
Hello, Ms. Lady. I'm Dale. I'm Brenna's stepbrother, and I think I might be able to help with the Pan-Pam dilemma.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Like Andy Reid, suck ass. Early in his career. John Gruden, suck ass.
We've now gone from...
You just said I could swear.
Yeah, but
you said I could swear, and that's why I pumped the brake.
You've gone from kiss ass to brown nose to suck toad and now to suck ass. That's where we've gone the gamut.
Pam.
Pam.
Hand.
With
There's
an M.
a D on the end.
There's no D. It's Pam.
It's like calm.
Here, it's
Except
P.
P-A-N-M.
M.
Two M's.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Lattis.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight.
Craig Karmazin maybe saying he doesn't like Goody is unfair, but boy, some big criticisms that our our founder and CEO, we call him the president when he joins us on Fridays, but our founder and CEO, who has Sunday Karma Sunday here on 94.5 ESPN, he was lobbing some grenades over in Goody's general direction yesterday morning, Chew.
Why is that?
God, I don't know what got into Craig. I don't know why he decided to say this, but here is what Craig Karmazin had to say about general manager of the Green Bay Packers, Brian Gutekunst.
When I talk to people about Goody and about the drafting of Jordan Love, I say, I understand the Packers' vision, and it was similar to the way Ted Thompson was with the drafting of Aaron Rodgers. But regardless of how Jordan Love's career turns out, in my heart of hearts, I believe that he cost the Packers at least one, if not two, Super Bowl appearances based on how he handled the 2020 draft, including A.J. Dillon, who, regardless of if he was good, was a third-string running back at the time.
Whew.
I don't agree with that.
What don't you agree with?
One player would make a difference. Well, I think the players blew it, and the coaches. They were in position.
But
when they lost to the 49ers 3 years ago, which was the one at home, 2 years ago?
Oh, that was 2 years ago. That was the divisional round. That was the divisional round. But his point, Chew, is that after they went to an NFC Championship game in 2019, they openly drafted two backups who weren't going to play much and help a team that just went to an NFC Championship game. I don't think it's as much just the one player, although I think having another pass catcher certainly would have helped. And then A.J. Dillon. We love A.J. Dillon because he loves Wisconsin. He's, the unofficial mayor of Door County. But has he been worth a second-round pick?
No, but they missed a little bit. I wouldn't even call it a miss. They fouled one off. He's still up at bat. But, I mean, we needed a second running back.
He was the third.
Most teams have two
good ones. He was the third
ones.
running back, Chew. When they drafted him, he was the third because they still had Jamal.
Yeah, with the eye on the future, having him possibly be the number 2 back and eventually becoming the number 1 back, which I don't think is going to happen. But no, I just the players blew it. Goody had them 2 years ago when they played the San Francisco 49ers. They were the clear-cut favorite to win the Super Bowl.
Yep,
and they stunk. That's on the players. That's not on Goody. Goody can hand you the talent. Coaches have to develop it and coach them and put them in a place to win, and they didn't do it. So I'm not blaming Goody for that. Goody made enough mistakes along the road early in his GM tenure, but I'm not blaming 20 on Goody.
Well, maybe this will help change your mind because Jason Wilde then joined Sunday Karma, and, well, he more or less agreed with Craig.
I won't go 2, but I'll go 1 for sure. And important to remember is that they went to the NFC Championship the year before.
Yep.
Okay. The 2004 Packers didn't do that. Also, Brian Gutekunst traded up to 26 and took Jordan Love, who came in for a pre-draft visit. Ted Thompson, for all the credit he deserves for having the guts to still pick Rodgers, had to go into the film room with John Schneider in the days leading up to the draft to do more scouting on him because they were starting to feel like he was going to fall, and they had no intention of ever taking him. And then they fielded as many trade calls as they could, and their phone didn't ring. So he didn't have much of a choice but to take Rodgers, as opposed to Goody, who made a very conscious choice to take Jordan Love.
Does that change
your
mind?
Change my mind? No, it doesn't, because we don't know about Love yet. I mean, we may think we know, but we don't know. I mean, I would say most people feel he's going to fail this year, then pass. Would you agree with that?
But with him, it's going to be on a curve, like on the Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre greatness curve. Yeah, it's going to be a fail. But if you grade it on the he's a first-year starting quarterback in the NFL curve, like, I think he's got a chance to pass. Because, again, just because you win 5 or 6 games doesn't mean... Like last year, for example, let's use the Chicago Bears for an example, Chew. The Chicago Bears won 3 games last year, but I would have given... If we're talking pass-fail, I would have given a pass to Justin Fields. Like, you can be a bad team...
They had no talent.
Yeah, exactly. You can be, record-wise, you can have not a very great record, but still be excited about the direction of a young team if they're growing.
Well, on the other side, look at whoever the car was in Las Vegas. I mean, he's a fail, right? He failed.
Yeah.
Because he had Devontae, he had Renfro, he had Waller, and he had Jacobs. That's a fail. I'm just not... Is Jordan Love a bad pick? We don't know yet. Might be trending that way a little bit, but let me ask you this:
if it cost them, if you believe, like Craig and Jason do, that the pick cost him a Super Bowl, then yes, then it's a bad pick.
No, I don't.
Unless he goes on and becomes the 3rd consecutive Hall of Famer to play for the Green Bay Packers.
Well, let me ask you this, because we all know how Aaron's wired. Does Aaron win 2? Does he win 2 MVPs if they don't draft Love?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think so, because I think he's getting...
He loves to be slighted. That's why he's going to be so dangerous in New York.
Sure, but I also just think that the second year within this offense and with what him and Devontae do, like, I don't think...
I still don't understand their theory of Jordan Love is a bad pick. He cost them the Super Bowl. Are they saying that because if they took another player in his place, that would have been the player to get him over the hump?
They could have... I think it's more of the philosophy of... You went to an NFC championship game, and then with the 2 most impactful offseason acquisitions you had available to you, because the Packers, after the 2019 season going into 2020, didn't really spend money in free agency. They did that the year before. So in terms of trying to infuse the roster and try to help them get over the hump, what Brian Gutekunst did instead, Chew, was draft a guy who's been a backup for the last 3 years and another guy who's been a backup for the last 3 years. He drafted back-to-back backups and didn't do anything to immediately help a team in 2019 that went to an NFC championship game in 2019.
Does he share some of the blame? Yes, of course. Am I putting as much as Craig is on that? No. No. Don't you remember sitting there the week they were playing San Francisco and power rankings?
You keep going back to San Fran, man. You keep going back to San Fran. I go back to Tampa Bay. Like, you're hosting an NFC championship game at home. Yeah. Like, the one thing that Aaron Rodgers had clamored for, and you lose that one.
How are you blaming that on Goody? Aaron Jones stunk, turned the ball over.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers wasn't very good. Bakhtiari tears his ACL, the week before? So they have some leakage over there?
Yep.
You know, that's not Goody.
Well, but if they would have had...
Where Goody takes the blame is early in his tenure where his picks were not very good. He didn't have good picks.
Again, it's you mentioned 2 players. Well, what if you had a player who at that point is playing, you got 2 chances, Chew. 1 out of 2 in a historically great wide receiver draft. And here's the other part. Because if you're looking to the future at quarterback, you're looking to the future at running back, why the hell weren't you looking to the future at wide receiver?
No, I know.
Because now you're
I'm not saying he doesn't share in the blame. I'm just not putting as much on as
now, instead of having a first or second round wide receiver at your disposal that could be helping, Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson and Samori Toure and the other receivers that they drafted in this year's draft, instead of having a semi-veteran, I've been in the system for 3 years, I can show you the way. Now you've got kind of the blind leading the blind almost with second-year players that are now the leaders of the wide receiver room.
So who do you want him to take? Jalen Reagor, who everyone had valued pretty high at that time, who turned out to be a terrible player?
Reagor wasn't available. It was T. Higgins. T. Higgins is the guy.
No, but I'm saying a player like that. We don't know. What if he tears out, No, I'm not going to place. I'll place some blame on Goody. I'm not going to go as far as to say he cost him, because the window was there. The window was there. You lost to Tampa Bay at home. You lost to San Francisco at home. I mean, who are they going to blame for the Seattle loss? I don't even know what year that was, when they had the damn thing right in their hands.
I mean, that was the players.
Players and coaches.
I guess I place it more on the players. Because, again, Brandon Bostic was told, hey, this is what you do, and then he decided to be a hero, right? He decided to go for it, didn't work out for him, and the Packers didn't go to the Super Bowl that year.
Well, and then I also put blame, I remember saying at the time, who plays cover 0 in overtime?
Yep.
Where there's absolutely no help. Who was it? Was that Donatel? Who was
No, that was Dom.
Because that was Capers?
Yeah.
Because that was a terrible decision. So they everyone shares blame.
Sure. Sure. Shouldn't have gotten to that point. But, yeah, everybody shares blame. Man, what is wrong with Chewy this morning?
What?
Well, you're like, everybody shares blame. Everybody love everybody. Why doesn't everybody love everything? Usually on Mondays, you are hellfire and brimstone. You hate Mondays. You're going to be getting on a plane later. Where's the Chewy that's going to be fired up on a Monday? I thought that Chewy was going to light some people up when I threw this up to him. He's like, no, everybody shares blame. It's equal. There's not one person to blame more than the other.
Because I'm right.
But this is Monday.
Chewy
you
was
hate
right.
Mondays.
Chewy was right.
No, the window was there. Goody's job is to get him to the window. Right? Could he have made some different moves? Yes.
Well, So,
all right, let me ask you, who deserves blame? LaFleur deserves blame.
Yep.
Goody deserves blame.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers deserves blame.
Yep.
Aaron Jones deserves blame.
Yep.
For the Tampa Bay game, he didn't play like a superstar.
Correct.
I mean, there's a ton of people that share blame.
Sure.
Why was Craig taking out Goody?
I mean, obviously, it was just some different conversations that he's had with different folks, and he decided to put that out there.
Now, he's under the microscope now. If they don't get back to the start of the window in 2 years, then it's on him for getting rid of Devontae, getting rid of Rodgers. If Love stinks, he's under the microscope now. He's got 2 years. He's got 2 years to make them trend like they're relevant, right?
Yep. 800. So I will throw this out to you. 800-990-3776. Do you agree with Craig Karmazin that Brian Gutekunst has already cost the Packers one Super Bowl? Do you agree with that sentiment? 800-990-3776. It's the ESPN Milwaukee Talk and Text line. So it's Goody's job, Chewy, it's Goody's job to create the window, right? Is it Goody's job? Is it Goody's job to close the window?
No, I would say that's LaFleur.
Well, because you shouldn't be closing windows, right? You should, if you're a good general manager, you should be you extend that window. That window opens up. You try to extend that window for as long as you can, right?
Ideally.
Well,
but sometimes it gets cold out and you got to shut the window.
Yeah, well, he decided to shut the window on the wrong guy. I'll tell you exactly what we mean by that, because one of his former players had some interesting comments on a podcast over the weekend. We dive into that coming up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Coming along pretty well right now. We had some earlier delays on northbound 41. Those have dissipated a bit, but we do have heavier volume, and all that building volume is going to start to slow things down as it continues to grow. But at this point, no incidents up on the board, and our travel times are looking pretty good. Traffic is brought to you by Evans Transportation in Brookfield, where they provide customized logistics solutions to keep your business moving forward. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, sunny and beautiful, a high of 74 at the lakefront, 78 inland. Tonight, mainly clear, a low of 53 at the lake, 46 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Football, family, and whatever this is.
Jordan Love, he could have put their feet to the fire and said, guarantee me $20 million in 2024, or don't give me the option. And if I show out, then you're going to have to pay me $40 million a year, or $35 million a year.
They went from having the back-to-back MVP to now, well, we are committing to you, but we don't really believe in you, but we believe in you.
Listen to Scalzo and Brust weekdays from 4 to 6 on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Michelob Ultra.
Change the way you do business and take more control of the payment process with Fifth Third Bank's Treasury Management Solutions. Their market expertise and managed services streamline the entire payment process and integrate with your existing systems, giving you more control than ever. With their suite of payment solutions, you will soon recognize new revenue sources that can save time, offset operating costs, and improve the bottom line, all customized for your business. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry. Ridgetop Exteriors is Wisconsin's #1 choice for roofing, siding, windows, and doors. We are the trusted local experts who live and work in the areas we serve, which means we're helping friends and neighbors too. On top of that, Ridgetop Exteriors offers the most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
Wisconsin Harley-Davidson is ready for summer. Are you? Join Wisconsin Harley-Davidson on May 27th for their annual honor celebration from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy a ride to place flags at the Wisconsin Memorial Cemetery and return back for a day of honoring our veterans. Not a rider? That is okay. Wisconsin Harley-Davidson will have music, food, and so much more. Like and follow Wisconsin Harley-Davidson on Facebook, Instagram, and online at wishd.com. Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, your destination dealer.
You may already know that Just Sports has one of Wisconsin's largest selection of sports memorabilia, supplies, and novelties. But did you also know that Just Sports has been offering affordable custom framing for over 25 years? At Just Sports, we follow the 5 basic framing principles: service, quality, design, preservation, and value. Not to mention that all custom framing is done in-house. Next time you want to have that special sports or family keepsake creatively framed, stop at Just Sports on 141st and Capitol in Brookfield and see what our certified framing staff can do for you.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Probably are forums, groups, areas where you can find someone in that space.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm just a normal person, so that doesn't really apply to me. That hurts. Not gonna lie.
You're not normal.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Looks like we've got another talk to texter amongst the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy fans. Terry in the 920 texts in at 800-990-3776. I posted a very similar opinion about Goody last week to "We'll be in touch. I fully agree with Craig and Jason." Doesn't really make sense. Well, he followed up, Terry in the 920. Looks like I've got to turn my volume down when I'm sending a message to you guys. I never said "we'll be in touch" during that sentence. So he must have had the volume up and his cell phone picked up whatever we were talking about and ended up in the text. So you're not alone, Chewy. There are other talk to texters out there.
Okay. Not as bad as me, though.
No.
No, you'd take the cake. It's between you and my mom for sure in my life, so I get it.
Wait, is your mom a talk to texter?
She attempts it, definitely attempts it to do it. However, the way she speaks is somehow just as bad as the way she texts anyway, so the phone's confused, I'm confused. I end up just calling her most of the time. That's why I have like a million calls just from her, is because I'm like, I don't.
All right, you want to talk about You want to talk about on someone else, like you're blaming Goody for everything?
Sure.
Then when I talk to Tex and they don't get it right, then it's on Siri. It ain't on me. I know what I'm saying. Am I right?
You gotta make the technology work for you, big guy.
I don't know if he's right.
Especially with like the problem, and it's not a problem because it's one of my favorite things about you, is the different phrases and sayings that you have. Like, they're off the wall. Like, there's no way Siri's going to be able to pick up on whatever you're saying. And then whenever you send it to us, if you phonetically say it out loud, whatever ends up getting sent, typically myself, Jen, Ashton can put together whatever you're saying.
Well, then Siri shouldn't think of what I'm trying to say. Just print what I'm saying. It's not her job. It's not her business. Right?
But I think that's how the technology works.
Do it verbatim. Now, it does sound like Susie's like me where she's not big on spell check.
Oh, it is.
Because I don't go back and read my talk to text because I don't think I should have to.
No, but, here's the thing. And, Mama, if you're listening, I love you. And, you're great and everything. But one of the issues that I've run into with Rots Hots is our shared business email.
Oh, boy.
And sometimes, because she's ahead of me on some of the things, which is very helpful, and she helps keep track of scheduling different events and things of that nature, occasionally I'll come across an email that she sends, and I'll just deep sigh. Did you not read what you wrote? And just, I don't, there was one email she sent the other day where it wasn't even a complete sentence, nor was it in order of the words. And I was like, just read it. I don't know. Read it out loud before you send it. That's a constant issue in my life. So, yeah, she has a spell check, and phones do it for you now, and it still doesn't matter because the phone's confused.
The difference is, like, Chewy, in what do you have an actual professional setting where you're sending an email and or text?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, no, he meant, like, do you send professional emails or text messages to people? Like,
what the hell's a professional email?
Like, your tone is a like business.
So if Ashton's mom is corresponding with a business or place that is trying to book, like, that's a professional email. Like, you kind of want to make sure that, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. You want to make sure you're coming across professionally because these people are trying to book you and give you money. So you want to give the best impression you can. You don't want to have typos. You don't want to have punctuation.
No.
Yes.
I am who I am.
Exactly. Like,
There's
you don't
no
have
professionalism here. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, you've seen my emails.
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
I'm very familiar with your work. Yes. Yes, I am.
No, I don't feel the need to be professional.
Yeah, that was the question I was asking. That was the answer I was looking for.
Yes. Like, this company, great company, a lot of emails. A lot of deleting going on.
Yeah, I mean,
I got tagged again. I got tagged again for, I don't know, whatever it is, opening up wrong emails and stuff like that. So now I'm not opening up anything. I'm just deleting.
No, okay, hold on a damn second. You said this 6 months ago. How on earth, in the last 6 months, after you said you're going to delete every email, did you get hit with a fake phishing email that has now resulted in you once again having to take cybersecurity training for Good Karma Brands?
That's a great question, Gabe. You should answer that, Chewy.
Because Comcast, which was what it was hidden under, is a cable company, and I didn't know if my wife was switching us from the View TV to Comcast because now we have to take this subscription and move it to the lake because we're going to be there. And I'm like, makes sense. She probably just got Comcast.
So here's the thing.
So it's not really my fault.
Well,
what?
Well, here's the thing about Comcast, Chew. It has not been Comcast for about 13 years. It's been Xfinity.
You know what the best thing was?
Just saying.
What's the best thing?
Is I got an email from our boss.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw you got tagged. Just have Brian D or Gabe take care of it. Okay. I love this. This is great. So I get in trouble, but it's kind of your fault because you were the babysitter.
No, it's not my fault.
That you let me do it.
It's not my fault.
So I ate Oreos for dinner instead of having, the pork chop that I was supposed to have. So now it's on you.
Wait, how is this on me? I can't monitor what you're doing 24 hours a day. Like, it's not my fault you big dummy decided to click on something that clearly was phishing.
I'm sure you got the same one, and
No.
you should have probably gave me a heads up and said,
No, we
hey,
didn't. We didn't.
careful.
They only send it to people who are most likely going to click it. They want to,
See,
teach
I
you.
think there's a part of you guys that want me to get in trouble, and you get more pissed off because I don't get in trouble. It's kind of you get in trouble for me getting in trouble.
Why would we want
Correct.
that?
I don't want that. Correct. I get in trouble because you get in trouble. Well, I don't get in trouble, but I now have more work to do because you got in trouble.
I already did it.
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way.
Did
I
you
did
pass?
it yesterday. I told him. Eventually.
So the way our cyber
See, they let you take the test.
Eventually.
It's awesome.
The way our cybersecurity test works is you get sent a link, and like I had to. So I knew this was happening because Chewy's like, "Oh no, do I have to do this?" Like, yeah, you probably clicked on another link. So of course he was, apprehensive to click on the link that he received to do his cybersecurity training. So there's a couple videos you typically have to watch, and then there's a quiz at the end of 5 questions, and you have to get 4 of them correct. It's all multiple choice, and if you get 4 out of the 5 correct, you've passed and you can move on. So you're telling me it took you multiple times to get 4 questions correct?
Well, let me tell you what happens, and I forget every time. Okay? So I take the 5 questions,
Yep.
I get 2. And then I'm like, then I memorize them, right?
Yep.
So I memorize them, I'm like, it goes C, D, E, and then I keep going.
Yeah.
Well, one time I was doing it for a good 20 minutes, and I didn't realize that they were jumbling up the questions. So I was just trying to do it from memory, like C, D, A. And I'm like, what the hell? I know these are right. And I'm like, oh, you should always read the questions when you're taking a test.
Yeah. That's the
Generally
lesson,
speaking,
yes.
yeah.
That's just good advice for anything. That's just good life advice in general.
So when you ask me if I passed, yes, eventually, probably after 7 times of taking the test.
All right. Well, congrats. That's one less thing I've got to worry about now, the fact that you've passed your test.
Chewy's the Tommy boy of taking these tests. It took him 7 tries. Normally that would make him a doctor or a lawyer, but instead, he's just Mark Chimera.
Evan was actually excited that I did it all myself.
Shocked would be the better word.
The bar we have for you around here
It's
when it comes
amazing.
to technology.
Yeah, it's very low. How about him bringing Brian D now down too?
Yeah, right? Now Brian D's got to
D's
be
one of my handlers.
You got like 6 handlers.
I do. Probably more than that.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big guy, so, I've got one hand, Brian's got the other, we're trying to drag him.
He's
We gotta
a lot to
drag him.
handle.
We're dragging him along, making sure he does all the things that he's supposed to be doing as a team member of Good Karma Brands. Speaking of being a team member, Davante Adams no longer a member of the Green Bay Packers, and, well, why is that? Well, according to Davante, had the Packers made a legit offer before he went into 2021, he'd still be in the green and gold today. Here's what he said on the I Am Athlete podcast.
It wound up being the last dance when it wasn't even really like a real thing. It was more so like, obviously me going into that last year, my contract in Green Bay, I talked to him and I told the Packers and everything, based off of what I had done, like, you want to see another year of this before I get paid? Like, I feel like this is, I'm basically on a tag this year. It's less money than a tag and it's no security, just like a tag would be. And, they allowed me to play that whole year without getting paid. And then I had another year of what I do, and it made it tough on them. And then, I had some decisions to make. So that's basically what came down to that. And obviously the whole Aaron thing and his uncertainty of his future in Green Bay factored in heavy for me.
So if they would have paid you the year that you wanted to get paid, you still be in Green Bay?
I would have been in Green Bay for sure.
For sure. Not a great look. I mean, this is something I think we've all hypothesized and kind of, I would say 90% knew, Chew. But, now we 100% know because the man himself, Davante Adams, on the I Am Athlete podcast, was a podcast hosted by former NFL wide receiver Brandon Marshall. So Davante Adams, that's what he had to say. He also had more to say about the contract offer that eventually did come his way. We'll hear that sound and discuss Brian Gutekunst and whether or not he just decided to close the Packers window instead of keeping it open, what Chewy said his job was earlier. That is coming up next. But first, I do need to tell you about our friends at Palermo's Pizza because it's a great place to work, certified recognition based entirely on what current employees say about their work experience. And 73% of employees say it's a great place to work, 4 points higher than the average U.S. company. Employees are offered an industry competitive wage, generous medical, dental, vision plans, on-site health clinic, paid time off, tuition reimbursement, various shifts and hours. Of course, it's Palermo's. So, of course, you get a monthly free pizza allotment. Palermo's is a third-generation family-owned company that was founded in 1964, headquartered right here in Milwaukee. And it's easy to see why Palermo's Pizza is one of the most recognized frozen pizza manufacturers in the United States because their growing portfolio of brands includes Palermo, Screamin' Sicilian, Connie's, Urban Pie, and, of course, from the hit Netflix series Stranger Things, Surfer Boy Pizza. Looking to grow your career at a company that puts people first? It's easy. Hit up Palermo's and their career page at PalermoVillaInc.com/careers. That's PalermoVillaInc.com/careers.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We are looking pretty good right now. For the most part, we're seeing a little bit of that heavier volume on eastbound 894, starting right around Loomis. We've also got some southbound 43 backups heading into the Capitol Drive area, and on 41 southbound heading out of the Capitol Drive area. Traffic is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, sunny and beautiful, a high of 74 at the lake, 78 inland. Tonight, mainly clear, a low of 53 at the lake, 46 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
In my job, I never held back. I played hurt, and I pushed through the pain. Sound familiar?
Football legend Emmitt Smith had a reputation for just grinding through the injuries and pain over and over. That may be you. And QC Kinetics sees patients every day who are exhausted from dealing with the persistent pain.
A lot of you work physically demanding jobs. You stand, you climb, you bend down, you reach up, and if you have joint pain, it takes all you got to earn a living. But it's time you know about QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics, the leaders in regenerative treatments, help relieve that debilitating joint pain without surgeries or downtime. These are natural solutions that use your body's own healing properties to give you lasting relief from the soreness and achiness.
You got a job to do. I get it. But now you don't have to suffer through the pain. Check out my friends over at QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill up. That's code ESPN17. Use code ESPN17 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
I've told you guys about the delicious pizza and Italian snacks that you can find at Proof Pizza inside another hotel here in Milwaukee, St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. Now there is even more to be excited about as the restaurant has added a variety of new sandwiches to the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can now enjoy menu items like the Red Rock Chicken BLT, the Meatball Hero, and so much more. Order from the counter at Proof or directly from the bar at St. Kate, the Arts Hotel. Explore these new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com. That's proofpizzamke.com.
Look at all this space I have on my desk. Finally, no more clutter.
I know, right? Plus, now I can actually see everyone and talk to them whenever I want.
Would you stop trying to ask people if there are more doors or wheels in the world?
Speaking of wheels, these chairs, woo!
I've never been more comfortable at work.
Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors, the official moving and furniture provider of GKB Milwaukee. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I'm going to go with the corn dog, the old corn dog. The corn dog for the
Pierogies
birthday.
and borscht all day long.
That's just crazy. Nobody likes borscht,
Oh,
let alone
God,
on their
it's
birthday.
so good. It's the only thing that makes my mouth water, other than my wife.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Maybe we're just trying too hard when really it's closer than it is too far. 'Cause I'm in too deep and I'm trying to keep up.
Join the conversation, 800-990-3776. Are you like Craig Karmazin? Do you believe that Brian Gutekunst cost the general manager of the Packers, cost the Packers 1 to 2 trips to the Super Bowl? I do believe that's a little strong. I agree with Jason Wilde. Probably one at this point. And it's not even, for me, Chew, necessarily just 2020, although that certainly doesn't help. The fact that he drafted Jordan Love instead of trying to draft somebody that could help the team in 2020, go further than they did in 2019 when they went to an NFC Championship game. They didn't really try to have the team get immediately better. Instead, they were looking toward the future. And maybe it ends up working out, but it's a calculated risk by Brian Gutekunst. The problem that I have is you said it's Brian Gutekunst's job to open the window. Right? Find the window to compete for championships. That's what Brian Gutekunst's job is as the general manager, and then it's up to the players and coaches to make sure you get that championship. My problem, big guy, is Brian Gutekunst has made some moves to me that have closed the window. Again, Davante Adams confirming on the I Am Athlete podcast with Brandon Marshall that had the Packers given him a legitimate offer after the 2020 season, he would still be a member of the Green Bay Packers. And then he also went into details about the contract the Packers eventually did offer him.
I don't know. I never was told that they don't think that's what my value was, and I never even really gave a true number. We got an initial offer, and because one thing you don't do is go in and say, here, this is what I want. I want to hear what you think I'm worth, and then from there I'll tell you. So once I got the number,
what was that number?
To me, it was south of 20.
South of 20?
It was
and you
south
ended
of
up
20.
getting what with the Raiders?
28.5.
It was south of 20?
Yeah, that was going into my last year. Before I played that last year.
But you did 3 years in a row. I know the last year was the third year in a row where you went dumb, but
yeah, I feel the same way. That's why I was confused, and I showed up for my team. I did, I was the leader that I was supposed to be, and showed up and put it all on the line. It wasn't like I was playing ball like I didn't have security either. Like I was out there flying across the middle, doing my thing like I always do, and then. Just unfortunately, that didn't work out. But honestly, there was no bad blood. I still respect and talk to a lot of those guys over there.
So the offer that they did give Davante Adams heading into his final season, less than $20 million per year. Again, he, with the Raiders, ended up signing a 5-year, $140 million contract with an average salary of $28 million a year, $65 million guaranteed as a part of that deal. That's what betting on yourself, by the way, looks like. After you get an insulting offer and go, okay, fine, I'll play, and then you go and cash in. But he's just confirming everything that we always thought, that the Packers really bungled the situation. Every time that, like, David Bakhtiari came up, or when we saw the contract negotiation with Elton Jenkins, these are the type of guys you don't let go. But you let Davante Adams walk out your door?
Yeah, that's a slap in the face, big time slap in the face, and now we're putting the pieces together why he wanted out of there. But I think Goody's plan was, and let me ask you, if they won one of those years, maybe both, Tampa Bay and San Francisco the following years, let's just say they won one of those.
Okay.
Would you have wanted Davante to come back?
Yeah,
because that's what Goody was planning on, to have won one or two and then be like, all right, he's 30, he's on the back end, he's still going to have a good year like he did last year, but I don't want to pay him buku dollars when he turns 33. That was his plan, was to get rid of him. Well, it didn't work out because they didn't get it done, and this is where we sit today. But the 19, the 19, when you heard it, my first initial reaction is they don't want you here anymore.
Yep.
That is like beyond a slap in the face.
It says to me, we're making you a contract offer because you're an all-pro and we have to make you a contract offer. And if you sign this, great. That's awesome for us because we're getting a huge discount. But this isn't really a serious offer and you can explore other options.
Yeah, knowing that these decisions that were made during the window, he's on a very short leash, extremely short leash. A short leash is in if Jordan Love is a disaster this year and they win 4 games, I'm firing Goody. Goody's gone. The problem with that is LaFleur's going to be soon to follow because when a GM gets fired and the coach is retained, that coach usually isn't around very long because GMs want their own guys.
Well, again, and that's where everything just becomes complicated with the Packers, Chew, because we know for a fact that their de facto owner, the team president, is done in 2 years. He's got 2 more seasons left. He's got the 23 season and the 24 season, and in the offseason heading into 2025, he has to resign or has to retire because those are the bylaws of the Green Bay Packers. And who knows what the new president's going to do? Is he going to restructure the franchise? Is he going to restructure and get rid of this 3-headed monster? Because the general manager, if you are going to retain your head coach as the general manager, and as a new general manager, this is the format where that makes sense because as the GM, you don't have hiring and firing power over the head coach. You're on equal footing with him.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. What GM is going to want to come into this situation and be an equal part, of the management structure? Look at Ron Wolf back in the day when Bob Harlan, they offered him the job the first time, but put restrictor plates on him, and Ron said no. Ron's like, I'm either running the show or I'm not coming here. That's why you're pigeonholing yourself. If Goody is fired within these next couple of years, you're not going to be able to get a GM that's worth his salt. This has got to go to a young up-and-comer who's going to take the job and say, okay, I guess this is a starter job for me. This is how I get my feet wet as a GM. I will be an equal part with some of the other pieces. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking that job.
Yeah, I think you limit the number of candidates who are interested in your job when you have the structure that the Green Bay Packers do. And again, who knows if that changes when whoever the next president is after Mark Murphy, if that person ends up restructuring the Packers to back to where they were prior to this. The Ron Wolf, the Ted Thompson, where it's clearly president does a great job with all the business stuff, stays out of the way of the football. General manager runs all the football operations, has hiring, firing power over the head coach. I'm hoping that happens, but I have no idea.
Yeah, these silos don't work because when you go from when one silo goes to another silo and they're not getting it done, there's nothing they can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know. I think it's a terrible structure.
Yeah.
The old structure was much better. You knew who your boss was. You knew who you had to answer to. Everything just gets convoluted.
And it just always brings up questions of, and look, you may not be on the same page as in the other structure, but at least you know who's in charge. You know whose vision you're trying to execute. It's the general manager's vision, right? Under this, I don't know if Goody and LaFleur are on the same page. There have been signs this offseason to point towards them not being on the same page. I certainly hope that they kind of get together and figure it all out. But whose vision are they executing?
But do you really want Murphy on his way out the door to pick the next GM and head coach?
No.
I don't either.
No, and that's why the Green Bay Packers find themselves in an interesting situation.
Yeah, because I can tell you this. If they win 4 games and Aaron Rodgers wins the Super Bowl in New York, he might get fired after this year, right?
It would have to be like Jordan Love is terrible. Like if Jordan Love gets hurt and they end up starting, what's the dude out of Penn State in their 5th-round draft pick?
Clifford.
Their
big red
Sean
dog?
Clifford, yes. If they end up starting Sean Clifford and they win, 3 games, I think you get a pass, but I have no idea.
Oh, if Jordan gets hurt?
Yeah. Because they don't have like a legitimate backup quarterback.
Are you just trying to come full circle and get me to agree with Craig? Because this is what it kind of feels like.
I mean, if you agreed with Craig, I mean, that'd be great. That'd be two things that you've come around and agreed with Craig on in the last
got
week.
Me ticked off at Goody.
Yeah.
For that embarrassing contract offer to Devontae. I mean, that's just, you know what? In that instance, you don't even offer him a contract. Am I right? I mean, if he gets 28 from the Raiders and you're offering, what do you say, below
20,
below 20
or 9? I would be double barreling out of town.
Yeah, and
am I right?
So that's where I guess I disagree with Craig, because I don't. When it comes to Goody, if I want to say Goody has cost the Packers a Super Bowl appearance, I don't just focus on 2020. It's everything. It's everything that's gone into it. It's him focusing on now and focusing more on the future than what's going on with your team. And I understand it's a difficult balance, Chew, right? Like it's your job as the general manager not just to win now, but also make sure the franchise is healthy in the future. But I would make the argument that Brian Gutekunst was keeping an eye to the future a little bit too much while he had a 2-time MVP, 4-time overall MVP, but back-to-back MVP, and an all-pro wide receiver on his roster. He was still, it's about the future. It's about the future. Well, now the future's here.
I'm moving that way.
So now, but now the future is here, Chew. So now is really when the pressure hits Brian Gutekunst.
No, but I'm looking, and I'm even going back to, like, why did you restructure Bakhtiari when he's only going to be here for 1 year, when you probably could have packaged him with Rodgers and gotten more draft picks for him, helped us out with the cap, become cap healthy sooner.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be a very good football team anyways. You're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team at best, so start developing a new left tackle. Yeah, he sucks.
Yeah, it's
look at that. Oh, it took 46 minutes. We got him.
Hey, attaboy. Here he goes. Here we go. I wanted the Monday Chew. The Monday Chew is here. He's ready to go.
He's back.
We're going to continue to fire him up and ask the very simple question. Is there an age limit to eating pudding? We'll explain. Coming up next, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN. Homer, Tony, living in perfect harmony. Yeah, right.
The Packers make the playoffs. I would be shocked. Shocked if they made the playoffs.
Like, what else would you equate that to?
I know.
The Packers making the playoffs next year would shock you just as much as the Bucks getting bounced in the first round?
It's pretty close.
That close?
Yeah.
If they made the NFC Championship, I would say that would be an equal shock.
Listen to Homer and Tony weekdays from 2 to 4 on 94.5 ESPN and wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Hi, it's John Reitz from Great Midwest Bank. And you know, there's more to being a local Wisconsin bank than perfectly pronouncing Oconomowoc or Waukesha. Or is it Waukesha? But rest assured, at Great Midwest Bank, we understand the local community and economy because we're a part of it. At GMB, we provide customized lending products that others just can't offer. Experience a hometown banking difference. Head to greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
I switched to Boost Mobile and got a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Want to know the best part?
It was free?
Nope.
The fact that it's on America's largest 5G networks?
Nope. It's the ding.
Oh yeah, love the ding.
Right? It's all about the ding. It's the dingarooski, the dingaroner, the ring-a-ding-ding.
Unleash your power to save with Boost. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone when you switch. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power.
And the ding.
Limited time offer. New customers only. Available on select networks. 5G not available everywhere. One device per line. Tax excluded. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
As a roofer, I don't have time to fail. Homeowners rely on me, so I rely on Beacon. Beacon's unique network of branches work together to get me what I need when I need it. Every branch working together. And with the new Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips. Now through June, purchase online with Beacon Pro Plus, web or app, and earn up to $1,500. Beacon, always building.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. You're driving along and some nimrod cuts you off. You hit the horn. Jeez, it sounds like a goose in distress. Time to head over to eBay Motors. They have horns for every make and model, not to mention horn pads, steering wheels, wiring, and more. 122 million parts. You can even go for an upgrade. It looks like Mr. Cutoff Man needs a new seat cover. Try eBay Motors, pal. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
Two guys drove to work. Neither guy wore a seatbelt. One guy got a ticket. One guy didn't. The same two guys drove home. One guy wore a seatbelt. One guy didn't. One guy made it home. The guy not wearing his seatbelt didn't. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
Now listen up. I only have 30 seconds to tell you all about my first Netflix show, FUBAR, before this ad self-destructs. I play a spy who on his last day on the job discovers that, surprise, his daughter is also a spy. Can you imagine that? Together, we both go commando to terminate a very bad guy. Now remember the date now. May 25th, FUBAR is going to blow up on Netflix. This Netflix ad has been terminated.
The Dell Technologies Summer Sale event starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs with Windows 11 Pro. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on essential accessories, plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. Offered to business customers by WebBank, who determines qualifications for and terms of credit.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
363.
What's that?
The number of yards they gave up on the ground against the
Oh,
Philadelphia
it's a Bible
Eagles.
verse, John 3:63. Look it up. Tell us what it
I
says.
thought it was Joe 363, and it was "Thou shalt not get past me on the line of scrimmage."
On 94.5 ESPN.
We're big on our national days here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Like to kind of keep up on them, see what they're all about. And there's some strange ones, right? Like some oddly specific ones. Like today. Does vanilla pudding deserve its own day? Probably not, but it is. It's National Vanilla Pudding Day. But it led to an interesting question that Ashton and I had, Chew. What's the age, like how old can you be and like just openly eat pudding?
Well, helps when you don't have teeth, I guess. Do babies like pudding?
Yeah, so like a kid's, like when I think of a kid, like a snack pack, like if I took a cold lunch and I wasn't eating hot lunch, we always called it cold lunch. So if I had a cold lunch that I took to school, which I would do once a week, we would always get cold lunch once a week. Like every once in a while, if pudding was on snail, you know, my dessert for my lunch, there'd be a little snack pack in there.
Yeah.
So you're basically where Billy Madison.
I mean, minus the, you know, millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Well, yeah. Yeah, okay.
But I feel that's a big part of Billy Madison.
I love a good.
When's the last time you had pudding?
That's what I was trying to think of.
I had pudding for the first time in a long time after I had my dental surgery earlier this year, Chew, and I was on the soft food diet. So that was something that I could eat. Like I got some snack packs of Jell-O and pudding because those were just easy things that I could actually eat.
Oh, butterscotch pudding action?
Oh, butterscotch pudding's fantastic.
Butterscotch pudding might be top 5 food. all
Pudding
time.
is kind of gross.
Why?
You like
What?
Pudding?
No.
Nah.
What do you mean?
Frank used to love tapioca pudding.
Yeah, I'm in on tapioca and rice pudding too.
I am all the way out on tapioca pudding because like the little the little balls in your mouth just feel uncomfortable.
That's why some people like it. I don't know. Sometimes they burst.
Oh, is that the marshmallows? Is that what tapioca pudding is?
No.
I don't know what the tapioca is.
Well, I don't know. What's the balls in the mouth?
But that's what I mean. That's what. I don't know what the tapioca. I don't know what
I've never had
tapioca
balls
actually
in my
is.
mouth.
Well, the little balls in your mouth, guys, are like gelatin, like little jelly balls, that go in your mouth.
Really?
Yeah, and then you take
It's just a texture thing. It's not great. So Chewy's just out on pudding. Yeah. Are you in or out on pudding? 800-990-3776. Because I feel like if you are a single adult, right, and you go to the grocery store and you throw a couple of snack packs in your cart, I mean, I guess now everything's pretty much self-checkout anyways, but you're getting judged by the the person who's checking you out, right? Like if you are like a 24, 25-year-old and you're just housing pudding.
That's snack packs.
Yeah, like because Snack Pack just screams children. So I feel like you can't be buying snack packs for yourself. Now, if you're an adult and like you buy them for your kids and then you sneak a snack pack, I understand. But I just don't feel like as an adult I can buy pudding for myself unless there are extenuating circumstances like the dental surgery I went through earlier this year.
Okay, here's a scenario. Let's say I'm going to the grocery store today to stock up for the week, as I am wont to do on Mondays, and I buy some snack packs and butterscotch pudding.
Yeah.
Can I say if I decide today's the day I'm going to experiment this, I'm going to go to the actual cashier and say, oh, it's for my kids? Like, is that a way to get around it?
Like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone?
Yeah, just like,
it's for the kids.
You know, like, is that fine? Can you lie about it?
I mean, if you want to lie about it, you can.
Would you feel better lying about it just so you could buy pudding, or would you feel worse the fact that you're like, I'm a grown adult, you're just eating pudding? What's worse there, the lying or the pudding?
I mean, the pudding's.
Is it?
Yeah.
God, I want some pudding.
There's probably something sad about like you sitting there watching that new Arnold Schwarzenegger Netflix show and eating pudding by yourself in your apartment, Ashton.
I think probably Jell-O's worse, right?
I think Jell-O's worse because to me,
what grown adult eats Jell-O?
What are you more likely to eat, Jell-O or pudding? What, did you hear what I said?
Well, no, I did hear what you said, but there was a joke I was going to make, and then I decided to stay away from it.
Yeah, good on you for that.
I mean, you could probably come up with it by yourself, but think of a famous spokesperson for Jell-O. I don't want to dive into it, but when you're asking what kind of grown person eats Jell-O,
well, yeah, but
the answer is that
Ashton,
person.
what do you do when you go buy rubbers? Steal them? These are for my brother?
I just would like to. This is the.
I'm just saying, uncomfortable things to buy at the grocery store.
800-990-3776.
Condoms and pudding feel like not the same. They
what
really
about,
don't.
What about the female products? You ever had to buy those?
No, I mean, Ashton doesn't have to. I mean, when you're dating someone, you're not buying those for that person. Usually after
That's a lie.
No,
That's a lie. That is a total lie. My kids have done it.
But I feel like that's something that you buy for your significant other after the relationships come relatively serious.
Well, sure. But, I mean, I feel like that's a sign, like you're willing to do this. That's like a test. Almost.
I'm not. Well, you're willing to do just about anything. Like
that's
if somebody asked you, if somebody asked you to do something, like you would go do it. I'm just saying, like the comfortability.
I don't think Ashton would. No,
I would.
Oh,
if his
yeah,
girlfriend said,
100%
hey,
would.
I would.
Can you go get me the sponge?
Well, I'd first
Ashton would
ask. I would ask for specific directions, or like for her to send me a picture, or be like, just tell me what the box is supposed to say, and I'll just grab that. I'm not ashamed to do that. It's part of life.
You're not?
No. Who cares? Why should I care?
Well, see, now he's a liar.
How am
Total liar.
Why am I lying? I'm telling you, if any of the people that would literally not care about this because he's just like, oh, well.
Ashton's need to want to help people out supersedes just about everything else within him.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know the shade of red he would turn if he had to go in and buy some prophylactic rubbers?
It's not.
He would be so embarrassed.
I'm not saying you're not wrong that I would probably like be thinking about it, but it's not going to stop me from doing it.
Yeah, seriously, I firmly believe that if the right person in this building today asked Ashton to go to Walgreens and pick them up a pack of rubbers, he would do it.
I disagree.
I hate that you just
think
said that on the air, 'cause someone listening is going to ask me to do that.
Ashton would rather steal them.
No.
Even though he's never stole anything in his life and
Just
then
hearts.
pay for them and then get the look from the 75-year-old checkout lady looking at him because he's going to
but Chew.
Actually, well, best case scenario, it is a 75-year-old woman. Then what do I care at all? She gets it. She's been there.
It's
been around the block.
No, it's so much easier for kids. I mean, now I'm going to be the old guy on the block.
This is
It's
awesome.
so much easier for kids nowadays. They don't have to go through the embarrassment of buying rubbers and going through the line because everything's
They get them
self-checkout.
on Amazon.
Oh, that too. Get them delivered to your house.
Prime delivery.
How do we go from
So that was the
pudding?
weirdest
How did
conversation
we
we
go
had.
from
I don't know.
pudding?
Just let it go.
It's you. It was you moron.
I don't know. It's what I do.
All right, we'll try to right this ship in 2 minutes. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Full show podcasts, interviews, and special content is available right now at WisconsinOnDemand.com. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on 94.5 ESPN.
do have an accident on the ramp from Ryan Road to northbound 94. Heads up with that. East and westbound on 94, also seeing some delays right out of the Marquette on the westbound side through the stadium. Eastbound slows down around 84th Street through the stadium. Northbound on 41, right out of the Zoo interchange up past Swan Boulevard is going to be a slow spot. The southbound side of 43 has a couple of pockets of heavy traffic heading down from about Green Tree all the way down past Capitol Drive. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, sunny and beautiful, a high of 74 at the lake, 78 inland. Tonight, mainly clear, a low of 53 at the lake, 46 inland. Traffic is brought to you by the Club at Lac La Belle, the birthplace of golf in Wisconsin. Schedule your tee time at club@laclabelle.com and start your journey. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, sponsored by Ridgetop Exteriors on 94.5 ESPN.
There's only one place in Milwaukee where every day of the year, dreams and reality get together for a great time. Where you can walk in a player and walk out a winner. That place, Potawatomi Casino Hotel. With fantastic dining, gaming, sports betting, a luxurious hotel, and endless ways to win, the excitement never stops. The only thing missing is you. Your win is waiting only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Visit our website to learn more. Must be 21 to enter casino.
Watch PGA Tour champions, including tournament host and Wisconsin native Steve Stricker, at the American Family Insurance Championship when it returns to University Ridge Golf Course in Madison, Friday, June 9th through Sunday, June 11th. AmFam Champ Week will also include an exciting concert featuring Tyler Hubbard of Florida Georgia Line, Friday, June 9th. Proceeds will support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and the American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com. That's amfamchampionship.com.
Hey, it's Greg Scalzo and Ben Bros.
Catch us Monday through Friday, 4 to 6.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
In mid-thought, I'm like, can I say kiss ass? I guess, and I'm sitting there going, I guess brown nose would have done it. But is brown nose a bad word?
No, you can say brown
you
nose.
got to be a suck toad a little bit.
Well, Pan.
No, my name is Pam.
Are you saying Pan or Pam?
I'm saying Pam. Yeah, I'm sorry. Who is this gentleman sitting behind you?
Hello, Ms. Lady. I'm Dale. I'm Brenna's stepbrother, and I think I might be able to help with the Pan-Pam dilemma.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Like Andy Reid, suck ass. Early in his career.
Oh my
John
God.
Gruden, suck ass.
We've now gone from...
You just said I could swear.
Yeah, but
you said I could swear, and that's why I pumped the brake.
You've gone from kiss ass to brown nose to suck toad and now to suck ass. That's where we've gone the gamut.
Pam.
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 Hand.
With
There's
an
a
M.
D on the end.
There's no D. It's Pam.
It's like calm.
Here, it's
Except
P.
P-A-N-M.
M.
Two N.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamara. Here's Jen Latta.
One last word on pudding from Rooting in Sheboygan, 800-990-3776.
Thank God it was on pudding.
I am 40, and in one sitting, I will destroy a 4-piece snack pack without thinking twice. It happens on average probably once or twice a month. Chocolate style or bust. Snack packs are simply a better pudding overall. That's not just an opinion. It's just a fact of life. Yeah! That's what the text said.
Is it good for you?
Of course not.
Probably can't be, I don't think.
I mean, it's...
Can't?
I mean, it's mostly sugar.
Eat an apple.
Yeah, totally agree. Apples for life.
When's the last time you had an apple?
Yesterday. I have an apple pretty much every day.
Really?
We didn't have apples this week, so probably like 2 weeks ago.
And I'll restock
Had
today.
some grapes. Some
Suck
grapes
it, Chew.
were the fruit of the week this past week in the in my household.
You have a fruit of the week?
Not really, but that's just what my wife bought. So again, so for those who don't know, like this week is my turn, but the way my wife and I operate is because we both enjoy. We like making food. We like cooking. So last week was her week. She went to the grocery store last Sunday, made the week's worth of meals, and this week is my week. We just go every other week, alternating who's responsible and in charge for feeding each other throughout the course of the week or throughout the course of the month.
That's kind of a good way to do
Yeah.
it.
Again, especially
As
if we
long as you
both
can
enjoy
both
it.
cook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both. I mean, we have different strengths, right? So we have different go-tos, but we both enjoy it, and especially this time of year, I want to be making as many meals as I can be outside. I want to fire up the grill, fire up the smoker, try to get everything up and running. So we spent a big chunk of hour one of the show. If you happen to miss it, download it, WisconsinOnDemand.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Jen, Gabe, Chewy. About Brian Gutekunst. And here's what Craig Karmazin had to say about Brian Gutekunst yesterday morning on Sunday Karma that sparked the initial conversation we had about Goody.
When I talk to people about Goody and about the drafting of Jordan Love, I say, I understand the Packers' vision, and it was similar to the way Ted Thompson was with the drafting of Aaron Rodgers. But regardless of how Jordan Love's career turns out, in my heart of hearts, I believe that he cost the Packers at least one, if not two, Super Bowl appearances based on how he handled the 2020 draft, including A.J. Dillon, who, regardless of if he was good, was a third-string running back at the time.
So that was Craig Karmazin yesterday on Sunday Karma, and that sparked a conversation about Goody and whether or not he has cost the Packers and those championship opportunities, what he's done with the window. But we're also in a pretty interesting spot, Chew, for all the professional franchises here in the state of Wisconsin. Because you have Brian Gutekunst, who is leading a rebuild, even though that's not what they want to call it. That's what it is up in Green Bay. You have the Milwaukee Bucks, who are one of the best teams in the NBA and have one of the best players in the NBA, but don't have a head coach. And they're currently going through that process, spearheaded by their general manager and John Horst. And then Matt Arnold recently becoming the general manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, he's been with the Brewers organization for a while, but he is now the one making all the final decisions. And there are limitations to both jobs, or all three jobs, certainly. But all three are an interesting kind of crossroads. One being new to his job, one leading a rebuild, the other trying to keep a window open by hiring a head coach. And it just made me think, which of the general managers, which of the three, Brian Gutekunst, Matt Arnold, or John Horst, do you trust the most? Just which one do you trust is going to be able to get the job done the most? It's a simple question, and I want to know how the fans feel about it. 800-990-3776.
Well, Arnold has the toughest job because baseball's not fair.
Yep.
And they can't spend money like the other sports can. Basketball shouldn't be that hard, should it be?
Well, so he's got to navigate.
You have all the pieces. You have the best player in the league.
Yep.
So they're not close to a rebuild. They just have to figure it out.
Well, no, but
They've underachieved.
Not only do they have to get a new coach, Chew, but the centerpiece of their defense, or at least under the old regime, and Brooke Lopez is a free agent. Chris Middleton has a player option, and you have to get the money right because then you go into the tax, you go into the luxury tax, and you become a multiple offender, and you might not have all of the weapons available to you, like the mid-level exception that they were able to use, the taxpayer exemption, which they were able to use to get Joe Ingles this past season. So in terms of just little things to kind of help fill out the roster, some of those options may not be available to the Bucks if they don't do it right in terms of the money, if they keep Chris Middleton, if they keep Brooke Lopez around.
Yeah, but just look at the Miami Heat. Look at the position they're in, right? Someone's doing it right there. I don't know. I always ask this question of, like, how important is a head coach in the NBA? I mean, obviously it's important, but it's not as important as the NFL.
Oh, it's more important.
Is it?
It's more important.
Why?
Why? Because look at what Eric Spoelstra is doing. You think?
No, I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's the case for it. Whereas you have coaches in the NFL like Bruce Arians, like Mike McCarthy, that people still make fun of to this day, Chew, that have championships on their resume.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
Whereas you take a look at a lot of, and I understand in the end, the counter to that would be 3 of the last 4 head coaches who have won championships have been fired: Frank Vogel, Nick Nurse, and Mike Budenholzer. All 3 of them currently looking for jobs in the NBA. But you need a guy that's going to be able to pull all the right levers. Like the Celtics should be giving a better effort, but Joe Mazzulla's in over his head. He's a first-year head coach.
So what percent would you put the Heat's success on coaching? And what percent would you put it on players?
Oh, because Spo is pushing all the right buttons, man. Like with that team, with that roster, it's not a good roster. Like, let's be honest. They're playing. Jimmy's playing great.
No, it's
and they've
not.
gotten like what they've gotten out of Kevin Love at times this postseason has been unbelievable. I give a big chunk of it to Eric Spoelstra. Like 50% goes to Eric Spoelstra. The other 50 can go to the players.
Okay, and that's a big number.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think if you have a coach that's that good, and then if you compare that with a roster that's spectacular, like when Greg Popovich, he's got 5 championships with the San Antonio Spurs. He's had some really good players. When you pair those 2 things together, that's when the magic happens.
So who do you think has the toughest job out of all the GMs? I mean, you have to say Arnold because it's not fair.
Yeah, it is Matt Arnold, but you have to... And we dove into this in the reasons why the Brewers had to do it because of the financials that could potentially be implicated not just this year, but down the line of setting the precedent of giving the money that they would have to Corbin Burns. And there's just a better way, I think, and they ended up winning their, arbitration case. But going into arbitration, and look, I doubt it was Matt Arnold in that meeting who went, oh, yeah, he's the reason we didn't go to the playoffs last year. But he's a part of those meetings. He's a part of the strategy of here's how we win this arbitration hearing. Telling one of your best players, if not your best player, that he's the reason that you did not go to the postseason the previous year. We're going through arbitration. That's a mistake.
Yeah, but that's arbitration. That's how it works. They're not going to go and give him a glowing review.
Well, no,
then they're going to lose arbitration.
100% true, but that's going too far.
You have to look at what Goody did. No, but you have to look at what Goody did with Devontae Adams. That's disrespect. Okay, Devontae would have rather had you say, "Look, you're 30, Devontae. We love what you've done here. We're kind of in a retool, rebuild. We're not going to be able to play you." And Devontae would have been like, I get it. That's fine. Okay, just trade me to where I want to go. He'd be like, fine. Instead of giving him a $19 million offer, $10 million less than the Raiders, that's a slap in the face. Now, Corbin Burns, Brewers don't have money.
Yeah.
They don't have money. They can't do it. So in that, instance, I understand.
It's still a mistake to go that far. To say he's the reason that you didn't go to the postseason, right? Because you're running a calculated risk that you're not going to tick this guy off. And obviously he was really upset by it, too.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know how arbitration works in baseball, but is it fair? Is that the best thing they have? Can they do away with arbitration?
Well, so teams typically try to avoid it. The way the arbitration system in baseball works, because you're under arbitration, because you're under team control, you have a set salary the first 3 years, and then the last 4 years under team control, you go to arbitration. And a lot of teams will just come to an agreement because they don't want to go through this process, right? Like they don't want to have to win.
Badmouth their players.
Correct. Yeah. So there's usually a compromise because then the way arbitration works is the team submits a number, the player submits a number, you go in front of an arbitration panel, and the arbitration panel doesn't go, oh, you're going to meet in the middle. They pick either the team's number or they end up picking the player's number. And Corbin Burns, I think, is the only player the Brewers went to arbitration with this season. And most teams, again, try to avoid it. They don't want to be going to arbitration with multiple players because it can become a pretty contentious process. So it's maybe you find a way to avoid it next time and don't tell your best player that he's the reason that they stink.
I mean, Corbin Burns should be smart enough to go, I get it. I mean, they're not going to – they're trying to save money. I'm trying to make money, right?
Yeah, but that just seems, again, that seems a little too
far.
No,
I know it seems terrible, but –
seems a little too far. There's a better way to do it.
There's an absolute better way, but look who baseball's being run by. And there's a little bit of that in football. It's just all leverage. Like I told you when I was doing my last deal, my Achilles was bothering me. They were holding that against me to sign me in the middle of the year, and I'm like, fine, I'll just ride it out to the end of the year, and eventually we came to a number, and you move on.
Would you have ever threatened to sit out? Like, oh, you're holding this against it, and then maybe I should sit out and rest it up.
If I was playing in today's game, and I was one of today's players, yeah, I wouldn't have been playing. I wouldn't have been playing.
Yeah.
Not at all. No. It's a different time, and you know what? There's part of me that was kind of stupid of me.
To play through the Achilles thing?
Yeah.
But didn't you probably had, whether it was, my guess would be more indirect, but there had to be a little bit of peer pressure, or at least just, dude, Brett goes out there each and every week. He was on,
no, there was.
So you got to be out there.
Yeah. No, you get the guilts.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, players don't play when they're at 80% in games anymore. They just don't.
But I think it's more
so big. You know?
The money's so big, and I think like their teammates understand. Whereas I think when you played,
do now.
Yes, when you played, your teammates would be like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
Yeah.
And at some point, that shifted.
Yeah, you have tremendous guilts.
I put this on the poll. So, which GM do you trust most in their situations to get their team to a title? What we've been talking about, and the only reason I'm bringing it up now, 10 minutes into the segment, is we've got about 100 votes so far. John Horst trusting the most, 73%. That makes sense.
Makes sense.
The weird part to me is 23% of people are still trusting Goody.
That's not shocking. I think there's just a lot of
what
toads.
Percent?
23.
23?
All right, Chewy, we'll get to some more of the texts as well. 800-990-3776. Which general manager do you trust the most in professional sports here in the state of Wisconsin? Is it Matt Arnold? Is it John Horst? Is it Brian Gutekunst? Chewy will give his order. I will give my order because, again, I'm not shocked that Goody's there, and it makes sense that John Horst is number one, but we'll dive more into that, plus get to your responses. Coming up next, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
We have an accident on the ramp from Ryan Road to northbound 94. Watch out for that. Not really affecting the ride too much, although we are seeing some delays along southbound 43 now from Silver Spring all the way down past Capitol Drive to about Locust. Westbound 94 slowing from 35th Street through the stadium. The eastbound side slowing down from about 84th Street through the stadium interchange. Traffic is brought to you by the Club at Lac La Belle, the birthplace of golf in Wisconsin. Schedule your tee time at club@laclabelle.com and start your journey. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, sunny and beautiful, a high of 74 at the lake, 78 inland. Tonight, mainly clear, a low of 53 at the lake, 46 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Yeah, they're football guys, but they don't shy away from the big topics of the day.
We won a championship, and my dad brought me 8 chips to eat on the drive because he wouldn't stop for a snack.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Unfortunately, there's a lot of truth in that. Just imagine if we lost. He wouldn't even gotten those chips.
Weekdays 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN and available wherever you get your podcasts with Wisconsin On Demand.
Wisconsin Harley-Davidson is ready for summer. Are you? Join Wisconsin Harley-Davidson on May 27th for their annual honor celebration from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Enjoy a ride to place flags at the Wisconsin Memorial Cemetery and return back for a day of honoring our veterans. Not a rider? That is okay. Wisconsin Harley-Davidson will have music, food, and so much more. Like and follow Wisconsin Harley-Davidson on Facebook, Instagram, and online at wishd.com. Wisconsin Harley-Davidson, your destination dealer.
Have you guys tried Celsius Energy Drink yet? If you haven't, can I tell you all about it? It's the clean energy drink that I need, that you need to stay energized all day long. And trust me, I need Celsius to get through this show with these knucklehands and, of course, to do my college football responsibilities all fall long. You can find Celsius at your local Pick and Save stores or online at Amazon.com. And that's what I do. I have it delivered right to the front door of my house. Then I can just grab them as I'm walking out the garage to come to the show in the morning. So that's what you should do as well. Pick and Save or online at Amazon. Celsius Energy Drink. Celsius Energy Drink. Live fit.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, did you know that the stored belly fat reduces your free testosterone? The more the belly grows, the harder it is to drop, mostly because of the decrease in free T. It's a vicious cycle that men are losing, and unfortunately, everyone can see it. Mentality breaks that cycle with semaglutide, an industry-changing weight loss medication that can help you lose up to 15% of your body weight while preserving your testosterone. Join our over 20,000 clients to look and feel the way you deserve. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
You've probably heard about employee stock ownership plans before, but what separates Fifth Third Bank from others when it comes to these plans? Fifth Third offers unmatched expertise and flexibility when creating ESOP solutions. From full and partial sales, second stage transactions, repurchase obligation financing, and seller note refinancing, ESOPs can offer tax advantages, increased liquidity, employee incentives, and overall diversification of net worth to help your company plan for the future. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals, member FDIC.
It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta, and I have told you about the delicious pizza and Italian snacks that you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel. But now there's even more to be excited about. The restaurant has added new sandwiches to the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy items like the Red Rock Chicken BLT, the Meatball Hero, and more. Order from the counter at Proof or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I mean, this world is geared towards women. Like, what do we
I am
get?
stepping away from this. Goodbye.
Like, what do we get? They get a comb that dries your hair. We get a stupid razor.
Hey,
I mean,
I
what's
mean-
the coolest thing we get? They get the hair dryer?
Control.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Which general manager do you trust the most to get the job done? John Horst trying to get the Bucks, keep that Bucks window open for a championship by hiring a new head coach this offseason, plus has other decisions to make in terms of what the roster is going to look like, with Brook Lopez being a free agent. Chris Middleton has a player option. Do you trust Brian Gutekunst as the Packers are going through a rebuild in a new era starting in Green Bay? Or do you trust the new blood in the Brewers front office in Matt Arnold being the general manager after being an assistant in that front office for so long? 800-990-3776. Chewy, what's your order? 1, 2, 3 in terms of who you trust the most with general managers here in the state of Wisconsin.
I'd go Horst 1. Arnold 2, because he's got to do it much differently because he doesn't have the money the other two have. So he has to sign players with the understanding in order for them to be successful, they have to outplay their contract, right? And then Goody I would put 3rd. Because I would say the NFL is probably the most fairest system. Would you agree?
Is the NFL the fairest? Yeah, I mean, because everybody just shares money. Yeah, it's socialism. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's
yeah,
also
they share money, and you can manipulate the cap now 500 different ways, and I think that's the most fairly. I don't really understand the luxury tax. I get it. If you really dip into the well, then you got to pay for it on the back end. But I think football's the fairest sport. Most black and white.
Oh, it's 100% the most black and white because, like, the NBA has a cap, but it's not really a hard cap. Eventually, there is a hard cap, and it becomes the finances in the NBA. Like, the finances in the NBA are more complicated than Major League Baseball, Chew, because there are no finances in Major League Baseball. There's just no salary cap. Just spend whatever money you want. You know, there's no. Yeah, eventually, owners have to pay a luxury tax there as well, but it doesn't hinder you from then. Well, if you've paid in the tax so many years in a row, well, now you don't get your taxpayer exemption or your mid-level exemption, and there's just so many different things in the NBA where it makes your head spin. But I agree with you. John Horst is number one because there aren't many moves that John Horst has made where. I mean, A, a lot of them have worked out, and B, even when they haven't worked out, like, I'm still cool with the 5 second-round picks that they traded for Jay Crowder, because as long as Giannis is here, have there been some good second-round picks in NBA history? Yes. But what, 95% of second-round picks end up being nothing? I mean, you're not worried about the back part of the roster. That's already occupied by Thanasis. You're fine.
What was his best move? The pivot from Bledsoe to Drew Holiday?
Oh, yes. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Probably?
Yeah.
Okay.
Without a doubt. Getting Drew Holiday in
built a
here.
nice roster.
But even like, the littler additions, like getting Bobby Portis in here, the way he's been able to, kind of get some good value out of Pat Connaughton with some of the different contracts he's had. It's, once Giannis is here, and he obviously didn't draft Giannis, that was, a general manager before him and John Hammond. But once you have that, just because you have that one-star player doesn't guarantee you a championship. You've got to make all the other moves around it and make everything make sense. And for being a relatively unknown when he started at this position, like he's overwhelmingly the one that people trust most in the state of Wisconsin.
Yes, but he's got to pick the right guy.
Yeah. And
this
now,
time
he's
around.
got the pressure, but I trust him to do that, Chew. Like, they're interviewing everyone under the sun. They're taking their time, and he knows he can take his time because the Bucks have the most desirable job in the NBA because of Giannis.
Is there
is where the Bucks are at right now from a roster standpoint, and they're in the middle of the window, and I don't know what they have for draft picks because of the 5-second, but you couldn't go and give up picks for a coach, kind of like a Gruden.
So
type
that's
thing,
so
and
they
you're
did that.
Guaranteed a pretty darn good coach.
They did that when this ownership group initially took over. They gave up, I believe, 2 second-round picks to Brooklyn to have Jason Kidd be the head coach. So they did that, and I've been on I want Ty Lue. I think Ty Lue's going to be the guy. It seems like, at least with some of the reporting and whispers that have been out there through social media, through guys like Shams and Woj and all these guys who are plugged into the NBA, it seems like the Clippers, and maybe this is just a play to up the ante for them for whatever asking price, they have for teams that want to have Ty Lue.
What is it?
I don't know what it is. But they're saying that they don't want to get rid of him. They're saying that they want him to be the head coach. Steve Ballmer, their owner, is huge and loves Ty Lue. He wants him to be there. So it doesn't seem, at least right now, that Ty Lue is going to be available.
Do we believe him? Or is he just trying to get a high draft pick?
I think it's leverage. Like
it could be leverage.
It could be both.
Yeah,
like,
of course it's leverage.
I think it could be both. Though, like they could both be saying we want him back, but if you're willing to offer something where he's looking for a new opportunity and we get something in return, we'd listen. But like my thing that I keep thinking about with the Bucks and with Horst specifically, Gabe, I keep thinking about this. Is there one name that if they hired him, you'd be like, come on, John?
Oh, there's a couple of names, yeah.
Doc,
Nick Nurse, Frank Vogel.
What's the matter with Nick Nurse? He
Oh,
won
dude,
a championship.
people don't really like him.
Yeah, so did Mike Budenholzer, but it was time. Like, and Nick Nurse is just going to bring the same issues. Like, he was very much of the thinking of Mike Budenholzer. This is what we do, and this is how we're going to do it, and we're not going to change anything we do. Like, that's not the type of coach that they need. Like, if you fired Mike Budenholzer for those reasons, you can't hire another coach who's similar to that. To me, it's two names.
Why are there not a lot of good coaches out there?
There's a lot of solid coaches, and then those solid coaches just kind of run their tenure, right? They just kind of run out. Whereas there's only a handful of really good coaches, whether we're talking about Spo down in Miami, whether we're talking about Steve Kerr out in Golden State, obviously Popovich, but he's up there in age. There's only a handful of really good ones that are worth holding on to for more than 5 years before you kind of get, okay, we need a new voice at the front of the room. Plus, rosters just change over so much in the NBA nowadays because superstars are moving around.
Yeah.
You need a different coach for whatever job you're trying to get done. If you're trying to be a championship team, if you're trying to, work your way into the play-in, get out of the play-in, it just depends upon what you're looking for in a head coach, depending upon your situation.
They better nail it because then you're going to start hearing rumblings that Giannis is not going to be around for his next contract. So this is...
Some of those rumblings have already been out there.
Don't do this, Gabe.
I'm just saying.
You don't have to do it, though.
No, I'm just saying that some of those rumblings have been
How many years does he have left?
2.
2? 3? 2?
2. Yeah, maybe
2.
Maybe less. You never know.
So my guess is he's pretty involved then.
I would consider him being very involved, probably.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You'd be stupid
Can't
not
imagine,
to.
yeah. Can't imagine Giannis not being involved. What I'm really curious about, because typically he goes to Greece. Like, Giannis spends a good chunk of his summer, and he goes back to Greece. Like, is he going to stick around here until they hire a new head coach so he can be a part of that process? Make sure he meets and talks with some of these people?
They can do what we're doing right now. Lovely teams.
Yeah, but teams, it's just not the same,
What, are you
man.
going to fly them over there? Do they have their own jet?
I don't know if the Bucks. I doubt the Bucks have. I mean, I'm sure they have like their team charter plane or however you rent that out. But I do not believe the Bucks have a jet. But I mean, I'd be shocked if the Haslams don't have a jet. I would be shocked if West Edens doesn't have a jet. And I'm assuming these people have private aviation because they've got private aviation money.
Okay. Well, then they can jump on a jet and go to Greece. I'd go.
Yeah, they should take us. We'd be great pitchmen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll hype whoever you want me to be honest.
Yeah, send me to Mykonos. I'm in.
But yeah, no, it's a huge call. I fully trust John Horst to do the job. I kind of trust Matt Arnold, but he's got to take some swings, right? Like he decided that they didn't want Hunter Renfroe, who had a good year for the Brewers last year, traded him away, brought in Jesse Winker instead. That's not going well for the Brewers. Jesse Winker has not been a good hitter so far at this point. But I guess I just kind of trust that he's going to be smart enough to figure it out. And Brian Gutekunst, whether it's fair or unfair, because he's been on the job longer than Arnold, and he's made more mistakes, the biggest one being the Devontae Adams thing.
Well, they're not in the window. The Brewers.
Oh, Brewers are in their window.
Doesn't feel like it.
Doesn't matter because they are. I mean, they're in their window. They have, as long as they have Burns, and I know Woodruff's hurt right now.
Well, from a pitching standpoint, they feel in the window, but everything else certainly doesn't feel like.
No, but it's like how open is the window? Like the Bucks window is open. It's a great spring day. They're just letting the breeze in. It looks beautiful outside. I feel like the Brewers window is like it's cracked a little bit. It's like that first day of spring, but like in March, you're like, I know it's not going to be that great, but you just want to get a little bit of the air in. Like it's slightly open. It's more open than closed.
I mean, it can change quickly, though, because they've got the pieces in place because of what that pitching staff can be. If you get one really good hitter at the trade deadline, suddenly you're going, oh, okay, maybe this can be a team that can do something in the postseason.
They doesn't feel like that to me right now. Huh?
You haven't watched.
It's early.
You've watched what, 2 innings of Brewers baseball?
Maybe.
The Brewers were just here, right down the road.
Okay, great. Did you watch?
I took a picture of the Trop when I was out on the boat.
Okay, so closed stadium. It's a dome, so you can't see inside of it.
I could see it from about 5 miles away.
No, you can see the stadium,
day.
but you can't see the game.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as you know, when you drove past, it was the afternoon. It was a night game, so they weren't even in there.
Let me ask you a question. How many games did they win?
1.
In Tampa, they won 1. They won yesterday.
Okay. All right.
Why?
I was going to go.
No, you weren't.
Huh? You're right.
No.
You were not going to go.
No, you didn't even contemplate going.
I had a very nice view of the Trop.
Have you ever been inside the Trop?
No.
Yeah. When's the last time you went to a baseball game?
4 years ago?
Oh, man.
No, I don't even believe that. I don't believe. Yeah, probably. I don't believe that. I do not believe that in the time I have been doing a morning show with you, you have gone to a baseball game.
Might have been close.
Well, I will say this, a Major League Baseball game, because yes, we did go to a Doc Hounds game last year, and you were there.
That doesn't count. That was 3
but that
seconds
doesn't
from
count.
his house.
But that doesn't count.
Yeah, it does. Baseball's baseball. That's a minor league team, right?
That's not the part that doesn't count. It's you going only because
I'll tell you
like,
what,
I
right?
walk out
When's the
there.
last time I've been to a football game? Probably Brett's the Chicago game.
Well, an NFL game, because I know you've gone to college games with your kid coaching.
Yeah.
So an NFL game. So what? Brett's retirement, his number unveiling on Thanksgiving.
Yes. Was what?
That was 2015.
What year was that?
That was 2015.
What?
Mm-hmm.
That was?
Yeah.
Wow, I thought that was like 2 years ago.
Time flies when you're having
All
fun,
right.
buddy.
So if that means 4 years is actually like 10 years.
Yeah.
He hasn't been like Ned Yost was probably still the manager when last time he stepped foot inside AmFam Field.
By Chewy math,
That was 2015.
2 years
Yeah.
is 8 years. 2 times 4. Yeah, 16 years ago was the last baseball game you were at.
No.
I'm just doing it based on your math, buddy.
I remember because it was hot.
Okay, so all right, so at least he went during the summer. We know that.
Yes.
If we've got that narrowed down, that will get narrowed.
I don't know who they were playing.
Yeah, not a chance. Again, I'm even doubting you've ever been inside American Family Field.
Oh, I have. I actually had club seats one year and never used them. So,
if you got those back, Gabe and I would use them. Just saying.
Cool, so cool. Oh, I had club seats. Didn't use them. Decided to go out on my boat instead.
It's tough. TV's so good today, and hey, that's how I roll. You know,
Yeah.
you're not shocked.
It doesn't matter what age you are. Low testosterone can be an issue with any guy. Mentality, local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. Kevin is the founder and CEO of Mentality. He wants to help you because he doesn't want you to go through what he went through. He was tired, groggy, just didn't feel like himself. If that describes you, that could be low testosterone. And his company, Mentality, can help you, much like they've helped me. You go in, you get a blood panel done, and if your testosterone levels are low, they'll tell you, and if you want to then continue to work with them, they will set up a customized testosterone solution just for you. That's right, it's all customized. Not one size fits all. It is a customized treatment for you to get your energy levels back up so you can attack the day the way that you're used to. You can get back to feeling like yourself. Go to their website, lowtusa.com. Mentality allows treatment to fit into every guy's lifestyle. Learn more about Mentality and their low testosterone treatments, lowtusa.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We do still have a little bit of a backup along 94 eastbound from about 76th Street through the stadium interchange. Right now, from the zoo into downtown, it's going to be about a 9-minute ride. 41 southbound's wound down nicely. We're looking pretty good, although you want to be careful. 41 near Highway 60. Over the weekend, we had a big fire, and that is still putting out smoke, and that's starting to affect your ride through that area. Southbound 43, pretty much back to normal coming in from Brown Deer Road all the way to the Marquette. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, sunny and beautiful, a high of 74 at the lake, 78 inland. Tonight, mainly clear, a low of 53 at the lake, 46 inland. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Bo stepping in for Ridgetop Larry. Ridgetop Exteriors is Wisconsin's #1 choice for roofing, siding, windows, and doors. We are the trusted local experts who live and work in the areas we serve, which means we're helping friends and neighbors too. On top of that, Ridgetop Exteriors offers the most affordable payment options, including no interest and low interest financing. For your free estimate, visit ridgetopexteriors.com. Roofing, siding, windows, and doors. Visit ridgetopexteriors.com.
My friends at Great Midwest Bank are all about providing options to their customers, such as portfolio loans. It's part of their common sense lending approach. I love it when people use common sense. Great Midwest Bank's experienced loan officers look at every customer's particular financial situation, and they can offer flexible options to qualifying borrowers. Maybe you have a non-traditional credit situation, or maybe you are self-employed. You might still qualify for a portfolio loan, and that's why you should reach out to my friends at Great Midwest Bank and just see what they can do for you. Great Midwest Bank's loan officers personally review every single loan application. They are friendly, they are professional, and they are always happy to work with finding the best lending product for you. Not your neighbor, not your brother, not your mom, but for you. Experience a state of tranquility by calling my friends at Great Midwest Bank today. Great Midwest Bank is your and my simply local equal housing lender.
The only diamond more valuable than colorless
is the diamond that is colorful. Pink, yellow, and blue.
In 2016, Christie's Auction House sold a 14-karat blue diamond for $56 million.
That's $4 million a carat.
In 2022, Sotheby's Auction House sold an 11-karat pink diamond for $57 million.
That's more than $5 million a carat.
These diamonds were born when the Earth was born.
They come from the heart of the Earth.
But now there are also pink, yellow, and blue diamonds that were born when you were falling in love.
These created diamonds come from the fiery heart of a miniature sun blazing inside a plasma chamber. Hot, hot, hot.
Pink, yellow, and blue.
Your colorful 1-carat wonder awaits you for $12,000 or less.
Your colorful 3/4 carat miracle awaits you for $8,000 or less.
Get them while you can. Welcome to Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
All Brewers games are on sale now, including a Memorial Day weekend showdown with the Giants, Thursday, May 25th through Sunday, the 28th. Start the long weekend right at Aloha Friday on the 26th and get a Brewers Hawaiian shirt with a special ticket package. Then take home a Christian Yelich patriotic jersey giveaway on Saturday, the 27th, presented by Chevrolet. Get your seats at Brewers.com.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
My father would always say, and there's a rhyme and a reason to it, he said, if you wear your rubbers in the house, you'll go blind. Do the two youngsters on the show here even know what rubbers are? I'm talking the ones that go over the shoes.
On 94.5 ESPN.
There is one person that took the internet by storm. Everybody was rooting for him, not just the internet, but on the grounds inside Rochester, New York at Oak Hill as part of the second major on the golf calendar at the PGA Championship, and that is PGA Pro Michael Block. Now, for those who are uninitiated, you don't follow golf, you're not huge into golf. So the PGA Championship put on, which is different than the PGA Tour, by the way. The PGA Championship put on by the Professional Golfers Association of America, which represents, if you go to your club, if you go to your local golf course, typically the person in charge of that golf course will be a PGA Pro, somebody that has gone through certification, somebody that is now qualified to give golf lessons, and they kind of run the whole deal. And Michael Block is one of 20 players who is a PGA professional, is somebody who runs a golf course, who qualified to be in this tournament. He's the only one who made the cut, and he ended up being top 15. He was playing with Rory freaking McIlroy yesterday, and he made a hole-in-one on the 15th. A hole-in-one. He dunked it during a major championship. Everybody's going crazy for this guy. Everybody loves this guy. He's now getting exemptions into actual PGA Tour tournaments. So, Chewy, and I know it's different for you because you actually, played in the NFL. But this is something you don't get in other sports where seemingly regular people, and he's a little bit more elevated, I would say, than that because he's made golf his, professional career, just not to the level that these guys have. But it's just, you don't see this in other sports where regular Joes, average Joes have an opportunity to play for something that big, and then, they're hanging. Like, he was hanging with the big boys. He beats everybody but 14 other players in front of him yesterday.
My guess is he might be moving clubs because he's probably a hot commodity right now. But how does that work? He has to get an exemption? Like, did he get any exemptions from finishing? What did he finish? Top
15.
10?
So he finished tied for 15th. So that gets him into the PGA next year. He will not have to qualify for it.
Okay.
Because, again, they take 20 professionals. There are qualifications. Then they have a big, I want to say it's in November. I could be wrong about that. But I think it's in November. A big, PGA of America, all the PGA pros play in this, and the top 20 then get exempt into the PGA Championship, the major championship. So he doesn't have to go through that next year because he's automatically in. If he would have finished top 4, he would have gotten an exemption into the Masters.
So is this lightning in a bottle?
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. Yes.
I mean, because that's the one thing about golf. I mean, there are so many scratch golfers in this world.
Oh, scratch. Right? One of my favorite lines.
Of scratch golfers.
There's a book called Paper Tiger, where the writer Tom Coyne took a year off to see, because he was like a decent player, like in high school, college, or whatever, and he wanted to see if he took it a year off, hey, could I become like a professional golfer? And the answer ultimately is no. Spoiler alert, book's like 15 years old at this point. but like the opening line in that book is "Scratch isn't bleep." Like, because it's not.
No,
like
it isn't.
Like it's
Well,
it's good golf,
at-
but in terms of being really good, it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing.
I mean, look at Tony Romo, who's an unbelievable golfer.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and he's like a plus
Who has
handicap.
played in some, but he's not good enough
No.
to sustain
No.
staying on the PGA. Didn't Mark McGwire play one time and was like shot an 85?
That was John Smoltz.
Like, I don't think when it comes to golf, I don't think you realize how good. Shut up, Ashton. It was Mark McGwire, or a teammate of his.
Nope.
What?
Gabe already told you who it
You know what I'm saying, Gabe?
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how good like a Brooks Koepka is, or certainly a Tiger Woods, or not even that. Just give me a golfer 102 in the world.
Yeah.
Is still an unbelievable golfer.
But I think that's true of just about every sport. Because now that you're mentioning that, like, I think of Brian Scalabrine, who kind of, he was an end-of-the-bench guy. Every once in a while would get in during his NBA career. Has now had a fairly successful broadcasting career. But Scalabrine, like, I remember this video of, he just went to go play pickup, and this guy thought he could just cook Scalabrine, right? Like, oh, you're nothing. Yeah. Like, oh, I could be on the end of... Like, the guy had no shot. Like, Scalabrine's really bleeping good to be on the end of a bench. Just like I'm sure there are some really... The best of the best college football players get to go to the NFL. And some really good college football players, Chew, have no shot at making the NFL. Like, in order to become a professional in whatever sport it is, you are so incredibly talented. And I feel that a lot of times we make fun of, like... I brought up Thanasis earlier in the show, right? Like, Thanasis is the 12th player on the Bucks bench. He's really good at basketball. He's so good at basketball. He's not a good NBA player, but he's an immensely talented basketball player.
But when you're Scalabrine, who's probably 7 feet tall, right? Genetics
like 6'8",
play
6'9".
a huge part of it.
Sure, but he also has
like
skills.
For me, genetically being strong. Remember when Dork Boy from The Office tried to go in and lift 225 and it almost impaled his chest and he died?
That's not what happened. He was just feeling a little overconfident in himself, and to his credit, he attempted it. He didn't die, but he tried it. He wasn't just talk there. He attempted it.
But he
it was a bad idea.
Pushed his hands on the bar, realized he couldn't lift it, and then just left.
That's a bad idea.
For those who missed this, Chewy, when the Bucks were going through their winning streak and were actually good this year, we were doing different things on the show to celebrate the winning streak, and Chewy repped 225 pounds 15 times. Like, it was nothing, by the way. Like, it was just boom, 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 like 15 times. It was unbelievable. It was awesome to see. And there was a kid in the office who... I mean, he what, weighs 145 pounds maybe?
Maybe, yeah, good kid. Just
and he goes,
he was a confident moment in his life.
Has never lifted weights in his life and thought he could lift 225.
I can't confirm or deny the never in his life, but the 225 was a reach and a grasp, I would say, on his perception of reality.
Had he ever lifted weights once in his life, Ashton, he would have realized he could not lift. He would have known that he could not lift 225.
Yes, he would know.
But that's
basically, hey, bro, stay in your lane.
So going back,
I don't think Dork's Ashton. Dork is not a derogatory.
It's not a compliment.
Well, it's also, I think it's the context and the way it's said, probably.
You're wrong, because I could find jock. I could find the term jock offensive. If you're saying dork is offensive,
you're just
jock is
confirming my
equally
argument.
offensive.
All you did was agree with me there. I said it's all about the context and the way you say it.
What about meathead?
I think it's enduring.
Endearing.
Enduring. What did I say?
Enduring.
Shut up, Ashton.
If you were Michael Block, he charges $150 an hour a lesson. Would you be upping your rate?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes, 1,000%.
All right, just had to ask the question. Speaking of questions, we'll see all the questions we asked here today on the show and review our polls. Coming up next, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Valvoline Advanced can help your engine get more miles. Right now, buy a 5-quart jug and get a free STP Extended Life Oil Filter. That's right, free. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need, when you need them, at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Wow, Total Wine really does have everything. I found a great Prosecco for under $8, your favorite Cabernet, and Ruthie.
Ruthie?
Hi, that's me. What can I help with? Oh, thanks for recommending that amazing French rosé. And I can't believe it was under $7.
I know, right? You can't beat that price.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Let's grab some more. So glad we found Ruthie.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, be 21.
Blue 22!
Those are sports sounds. And people love sports so much, it makes them pay attention when I say, drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
And it's way back! It's out of here!
And we all know how sports fans feel about big saves.
What a save!
See what I did there? Save is also a sports word. So save big when you switch to Progressive. Ooh, that's a golf clap.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary.
What's it like to be one of the most sought-after basketball players in the nation?
Top 20 recruit. Say hello to Billy Preston.
You turn into a star damn near.
Preston.
We want Billy.
Until
somebody had called the NCAA anonymously.
The federal probe has turned up widespread fraud and corruption in college basketball.
Listen to The Bag Game from 30 for 30 podcasts.
We all got mud on us, man. All of us.
Life's better with a home policy from American Family Insurance because you'll feel protected no matter how the wind blows. All so you can keep enjoying the home of your dreams. And our expert agents can help you save up to 23% when you bundle home with auto. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. American Family Insurance. Get a quote? Find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Yes. Was it a mistake?
Yep.
Ashy bashy.
Yep.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
You didn't even know what the hell I said.
You asked if it was a mistake.
What was
a mistake?
Go back to soccer.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Here we go. So put your best face on, everybody pretend you know this song. Everybody come hang. Let's go.
Couple of questions we asked today on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Started with, on Sunday Comer, Craig Carmerson said Brian Gutekunst cost the Packers 2 trips to the Super Bowl. Do you agree with that assessment? 67% of people are saying no. The Packers not making the Super Bowl hasn't been a talent issue in any single year. They've always had the talent, execution, or lack of when the lights get bright has been the issue. Goody turning over from the roster from a subpar team he inherited from Ted Thompson is a big reason they were even on the doorstep of the Super Bowl. Bad injuries, namely to David Bakhtiari, and their stars not delivering at home in the playoffs is what cost them 2 trips to the Super Bowl. Some of the reactions we got on that one. Gutekunst is interesting because we then later asked which general manager you trust the most in their situations to get their team a title. John Horst, 69.4%. Nice. Brian Gutekunst is at 21.7%. Matt Arnold, 8.9%. I don't know what and maybe we should do this before the year at some point during this offseason, Ashton, just kind of ask what just straight up, do you trust Brian Gutekunst?
Which I know we've talked about that before at various points of the season whenever things happen, but like, if your answer is yes, you trust him, I just want to know why. What makes someone trust him? Not that like he's a bad guy, it's just like, what has he done? You're like, I trust that he's on the right path and he has the Packers on the right path.
But it's one of those questions, and look, I understand that there's going to be a certain percent of the fan base that still believes the Packers are going to be great, and there's a lot of people that, they're even going to be better next year. They'll still win 10 games because Aaron Rodgers, you lose a 4-time MVP, I don't think you're going to be a better team. I mean, even when Aaron Rodgers took over, the Packers took a small step back before they launched forward, and I still think that's possible. But asking those little questions, because I'm not going to get lost in the wins and losses. It's about, are you pulling the right levers at the right time? Are you getting the right talent acquisition? So to me, the next most important question after how good is Jordan Love is, can I trust Brian Gutekunst to continue? Like, if Jordan Love is good, can I trust Brian Gutekunst to then put the requisite talent around him in order to get that window back open for the Packers. So I'm curious, at some point this offseason, maybe we do it, let some of the preseason play out, kind of see how it's going. And before the season, or maybe we do it before the preseason, I'm not quite sure what the timing of it should be. But ask the question, do you trust Brian Gutekunst? Just straight up. No other qualifiers, do you trust him? And then in the middle of January, after the season has come to a close, ask that question again. Just try to see what the before and after potentially could be for Goody.
Yeah, but then you hear Devontae talk and say he was like, then it's like, why you were offered less than $20 million. I'm not saying like you need to offer him $30 a year, but like you offered him less than $20 a year. What are we doing here?
And the timing of that, so Devontae Adams went on, and I don't know when he went on, but the podcast was released over the weekend.
It was on Friday. It was
okay.
a live show.
Oh, it was a live show on Friday.
Yeah.
So he was on with Brandon Marshall, and Devontae Adams said the one thing we always assumed, and that if the Packers had given him a contract offer in 2020, or a legitimate contract offer in 2020, he would still be a member of the Green Bay Packers. And I don't even think they needed to go at that point all the way to the $28 million per year on average that the Raiders eventually gave him. But he also then let it be known that the contract offer he got after the 2020 season was less than $20 million per season on average. Again, he ended up signing for $28 million on average. Maybe if they get him to 22, 23, you could probably get the deal done.
I mean, and honestly, like I'm looking at Devontae's contract right now. He's $30 million guaranteed. If they had just whatever number it was, but they'd guaranteed the same amount, if not more.
Yeah, because a lot of times it comes down to the guaranteed money.
Right.
But we played that audio, and Chewy, who was on the side of, oh, Goody's fine, flipped. Like it took 46 minutes, and Chewy flipped from, oh, yeah, Goody's fine, to maybe I don't trust him. So I'm curious to see how that continues to play out, because it becomes the biggest question. And probably after that, I would say after Brian Gutekunst, the question is, can I trust Matt LaFleur as the head coach?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the order, I think, of operations when you start looking at that. We also asked on National Vanilla Pudding Day, can you eat pudding as an adult? 81% of people, I guess a lot of people are just like eating pudding in secret.
Part of me wonders if I should have re-asked it and said, would you buy pudding for yourself? That's what Chewy was hung up on. It's like, are you going in the checkout line and just buying this? Like, it's pudding. Like, if you're buying it, you're eating it.
Oh, 100%.
So are you embarrassed buying pudding? And I think the answer maybe is yes.
And maybe I'm wrong, but here's the other thing. Like, fruit snacks are, to me, underrated. But they're also a kid thing. Like, I am not going to go and buy myself some Scooby-Doo fruit snacks when I go to the grocery store later today.
But you're more likely to buy that than pudding.
No, they're the same. They're the same category to me.
No way, man. I'd rather buy fruit snacks than pudding. If I'm going on the embarrassment factor, I'm like, all right, fruit snacks I can just sell as a snack. That
being said, so after I ran Crazy Legs, whatever that was, coming up in a month ago, in late April. I went to Madison, ran Crazy Legs with my sister and my uncle. And my sister, my parents ended up coming out with my brother-in-law as they were watching my sister's two kids as we were running. And of course, because it's a 2 and a 4-year-old, they got snacks, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got snacks. And my mom, after the race, I was hungry. Couldn't find a banana anywhere. Usually after you run a race like that, like they give you water and a banana. Like I was hungry. My mom happened to have some fruit snacks like in her coat pocket because she had, some snacks for the kids. And I devoured those. Fruit snacks are delicious. They're fantastic. Never buying fruit snacks for myself.
Really? That's nuts.
No,
that's crazy.
Like you cannot buy fruit snacks unless you are a grandmother buying them for your grandchildren or you are a parent buying them for your kids.
You know what? Think of how cool you would be if you were known in the office though as the fruit snack guy.
I think that's Scals. I think Scals, because he's got like all the snacks.
Yeah, like
I think he's got fruit snacks there.
You could be a fruit snacks guy.
I don't know. I just
workshop it.
Like again, I think pudding and fruit snacks are things I just associate with childhood and I associate with kids. And maybe I just need to get over that. And just, if that's something I want to have in my house, I just need to go buy it.
I'm going to buy some pudding today, I think.
No, you're not.
I might.
I don't think you will.
But it's a possibility for sure.
Josh, when's the last time you had pudding? Last time you had pudding?
Not within a decade.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to know who these adults are that are eating pudding. Who are these 81% of people who are eating pudding? I don't know any of them in my life, unless they're doing it in secret. It's baffling. What's not baffling is Willie and Tausch. They're next.
Private pudding.
We've got a broken down vehicle on westbound 94 right about at Moreland Road. It was blocking the right lane.